How's it going, fellas? Today, I'm going to tell you the story time of when me and my friends accidentally kind of ruined one of my other friends' days. It wasn't even it wasn't on purpose, bro, but we didn't do the nicest thing ever. It wasn't intentional. I mean, it kind of was intentional. Anyways, this is pretty funny looking back on it, but at the time, I felt pretty bad, but it makes up to be a pretty funny story, so enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like in the video to claim your free nothing. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. So this story took place during my sophomore year, and it was during the winter time, and it all took place during Friday, which you already know is going to be a good day, man, because it was Friday. Like, I remember, because I was in school at this time, it wasn't like winter break or anything. Dude, especially for some reason my sophomore years, the weekends were so hype. Don't get me wrong, the weekends are always hype, but for some reason, my sophomore year, the weekends were so incredibly hype, and I'll always look back on those years with like really fond memories. But anyways, let me give some names to the three friends in the story. So Brad and Chad were the two friends I was with, and then the third friend, the one we kind of messed up his entire day, let's call him Matthew to kind of like differentiate himself from Brad and Chad. Those aren't the real names, by the way. Those are just made up. I wouldn't actually say their real names because, you know, I'm trying to keep some privacy with these stories while still having a good time. But anyways, let's jump into what actually happened. So during the winter term of my sophomore year, what would happen would be every weekend my friends and I would get together, and either on a Friday or a Saturday, we'd all go over to someone's house or kind of like their residence or whatever, and we would watch a movie, play some games, just kind of like chill out and have a really nice time. Like I didn't end up doing that as much my junior and senior year. I still hung out with my friends, but a bit more of my weekend time was devoted towards schoolwork because, you know, that's when college season happens. So for that reason, sophomore year was just really a blessed year for me. Grades weren't as good as later on, but honestly, bro, I'm not remembering my good grades. I'm not remembering that A in that assignment, bro. I'm remembering that night with the fellas. That's what I'm remembering, bro. Sorry. Anyways, so tonight was a typical night as always. We went out for dinner, having a good time, talking about what was going on. I think it was a particularly stressful week, so I just remember I was extra relieved for it to be the weekend. I mean, obviously, you still got homework over the weekend, but don't worry, bro. Sunday night. That work was going to happen. It was going to be done Sunday night. I already knew it. Even if I was going to lie to myself and say, "Yeah, bro, I'm going to do it Friday night." Yeah, let's be real. So basically, my friends and I were sitting at dinner as we always did. I always had like the greatest dinner conversations. I don't know if that was just like me and my friends, but dinner was always something to go to, especially when you didn't really have any obligations. Like especially when it wasn't a weekday, we'd be there for like 2 to 3 hours just talking. Like the actual meal part was like 20 minutes, but like we'd just be there talking for like 2 to 3 hours. And anyways, we were there talking about what movie we wanted to watch. And our friend Matthew, the one that we kind of messed things up for, he was telling us how he unfortunately had an obligation at 8 a.m. the next morning. So Matthew wasn't 100% sure if he wanted to watch a movie with us, but, you know, we were like, bro, come on, watch the movie, man. And like the thing was, should we have just let Matthew rest up for his big thing, or not even a big thing, but just his obligation the next day at 8 in the morning? Maybe. Perhaps, maybe, but you know, at the time, we wanted all the fellas there to watch the movie. It's more fun when you're all there to interact with it. We just wanted him there. So eventually, Matthew kind of caved in to Brad, Chad, and a few other people. Brad and Chad, Matthew, and I were the only four to actually watch the movie, but there was a few other people at the table. They were just going to end up doing different things. Eventually, he caved and he said he would watch the movie. So we're trying to figure out what movie we wanted to watch. We were deciding between like Blair Witch Project and I think The Conjuring, but The Conjuring was a little bit too intense for us. Oh yeah, by the way, we normally watch horror movies, and then sometimes on the weekends after watching horror movies, we go out to like the common room area of whoever's house and we play Outlast and scream at basically nothing. Basically scream at like the tutorial menu, scream at like the low power button, bro. It was a good time. Anyway, so Matthew eventually decides to actually come and chill with us, and we're having a good night, we're talking about things, we're playing some games. Then around, I think, 11 or so, we decide to, throw on a movie, and Matthew's kind of looking at the clock and is like, I don't think I can watch the whole thing with you guys, but, I'll watch a little bit, right? So we're watching the movie. We're going ahead. The Blair Witch Project didn't end up being that scary. Like, I'll be honest, it had it was good for the time. Don't get me wrong, it was definitely good for the time, but it didn't really hold up well in my personal opinion. Don't get mad at me in the comment section if that's like your favorite movie that you think holds up incredibly well. It just didn't hold up for me. We're allowed to differentiate on this, but basically, what happened was, it was going along kind of slowly. Matthew was like at around 12 or so, like an hour in. I think the movie's like 2.5 hours. He was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go to bed. But the thing was, the other rooms in the house and like the couch and such, they weren't off limits, but they were just being occupied or just wouldn't make sense for them to be used. So basically, we all brought sleeping bags and we would sleep on the floor of, I think this was Brad's room. I forgot exactly whose room it was, but let's just say it was Brad or Chad. It was one of the two, right? Let's say, so we basically had to bring sleeping bags and sleep on the floor of Brad's room. It wasn't a ton of space in there, but you made exceptions when you're hanging out with the fellas. You got to do what you got to do. So Brad kind of just like, gets in a sleeping bag and just tries to fall asleep right there. He doesn't expect us to like turn off like the movie or anything or like stop talking, but he does kind of expect us to be a little bit quiet, to not like, be super loud, since he does have a pretty big thing he has to do at 8 a.m. the next day. So he kind of has the basic expectation that we're not going to be incredibly loud. If you can tell by the way I'm talking, we didn't necessarily fulfill this expectation that well. Yeah, not that well is an understatement. Basically, it's like another, I'd say like 40 minutes into the movie. So Matthew's basically asleep at this point. And it's just Brad, Chad, and I, and we're all kind of just like sitting there watching the movie. We get bored. We don't even go to the end. We eventually watch the ending of the movie the next day at like 10 or 11 when we wake up, when Matthew is long gone for his event. We eventually decide to finish the movie. But we got like an hour and a half in, or an hour 45 in. We're like, bro, this is too boring. Like, we got to find something else. So we decide to go on Netflix and look for something scary. And remember, it's not pitch black in the room. You got the computer screen open, but like Matthew's sound asleep. The rest of the house is asleep. We're trying to be relatively quiet, and we're looking on Netflix. And I don't know why, but for some reason, you know how Netflix shows you like images for the movies it's suggesting? I think it suggested like Annabelle or something. And there was like an image of a creepy doll. It wasn't even that scary, but Brad, Chad, and I, all in unison, scream at the top of our lungs. I have no idea why. Maybe we're just like in the mood for being dramatic, but when we see the still photo of Annabelle, like nothing really that big, we all scream. Let me just say, Matthew was not too happy to be woken up by us screaming at an image of a doll. So we're all kind of like sitting there, and we see Matthew, who was in his sleeping bag, like kind of like, not, he didn't stand up, but he kind of like stood up straight, and he looks at us. He's like, shut up. And we're like, my bad, bro. And we're all like, oh yeah, okay, my bad. Matthew gives us this look, and then eventually lays back down, gets in a comfortable position, and tries to fall back asleep. And we're like, okay, kind of like, we didn't say this out loud because we're trying to be quiet, but to each other, we're kind of just like, you know what? Okay, let's not try and be too loud. I kid you not, 45 seconds later, Chad clicks on an image of another scary movie. I think it was The Conjuring. And once again, in unison, we all scream at the top of our lungs. Matthew stands up straight. He's like, bro, what? And we're all like, my bad, bro. That's on us. That's on us. He's like, of course it's on you. And we're like, yeah, bro, that's my bad. That's my bad. It's on me. And so we're like, okay, let's just chill out. Maybe let's watch a funny movie. So we're looking for funny movies. And then Chad is like, I got to go to the bathroom. And remember, all of us are going to be sleeping on the floor. So right now, Matthew is sleeping on the floor. Chad isn't paying attention. He walks over and steps on his face. Matthew gets up and he is pissed. He's like, bro. So we didn't disturb Matthew any other times during the night, but we kind of really did disrupt his sleep by waking him up like 3 times in the span of like 30 minutes at like pretty late at night. So he probably didn't fall asleep for like another half an hour after his body is kind of in shock after being yelled at twice and stepped on once. So basically the next day rolls around, we wake up and it's like 11 for us. And basically we go to the kitchen, we're getting a breakfast basically. And I think it was, whoever it was, Brad or Chad, whichever house we were staying at, Brad or Chad's mom was like, Matthew looked really tired this morning. And we're like, we don't know why. That's really crazy. He went to bed at like 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. And we were really good. We were really quiet. We actually went to bed right away as well. And Brad's mom was like, really? I thought I heard some stuff. And we're like, that's odd. Maybe that's a technical glitch. Thank you so much for watching today's Storytime video. I really hope you did enjoy. If you want to help out the channel, consider clicking on one of the 4 videos / playlists you see on screen right now, or even the Storytime playlist if you want to catch up with older videos. If you watch a bunch of my videos or binge watch my videos, YouTube really does promote my channel more, and I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.